Hey brass players, it's Mr. Walter. We just got done with class here. It's Friday. Yeah, Friday. And we worked on a lot of different things today. We worked on our mouthpiece buzzing. We worked on lead pipe buzzing, which is what this video is going to be about, to help you further develop that at home. We did review some very important things I want to spend some time reviewing before we get into our lead pipe buzzing. The first thing is working with our coffee straw. If you have lost it, make sure to ask me for another one, or the next time you're at a gas station, just grab one. You're not going to get arrested for stealing plastic coffee straws. Remember to practice that embouchure. Get that straw between your teeth, okay? And don't bite down. Just get it between your teeth, and then form that embouchure around that straw. And if you're squeezing correctly, you will actually feel the teeth lift off of the straw and create automatic space for the air, and because the muscles are forming. If you can still feel your teeth touching the straw, or even worse, biting the straw, like coming down, you want to work on separating the teeth, because we want to keep the teeth apart for the airflow, and it opens up what we call our oral cavity, and it allows us to shape our mouth to do different things in the future. So we would just want to have a nice open throat and keep those teeth spread. Now, embouchure development, remember, it's a combination of kind of like a pucker. Call it the grumpy old man face. So relax your lips, and then just kind of take the lips and then roll them in and get a nice squeeze with your corners. Okay? And always use a mirror. Oh, we talked about in the last video, always use a mirror with everything you do. We use one in class the entire time. Always use a mirror. As you're working on this embouchure development, you can practice embouchure development walking to school. You can practice embouchure development sitting in math class. Just every couple times a day, just squeeze that embouchure until it burns, then stop for like 4 or 5 minutes, if that's, because you're so young players. It probably hurt after 2 minutes actually. And then a few hours later, if you're bored, be like, oh, do it again. And that's going to work on strengthening the muscles in here and getting our lips to move in the right way. So once you've done your straw work, you've done your lip clamping, do that multiple times a day, then you can work on buzzing with your mouthpiece. So set up your embouchure, lick your lips a little bit if you want to, give your embouchure set up, breathe in through the nose. Notice how relaxed I look. When you're at home playing, and parents, if you see this as well, if you see the kid like their veins are popping out, their neck stretches, their cheeks are puffing out, they're trying way too hard. If this is set up correctly, the buzz will happen. Notice how firm this is. Okay, I can actually tap on it, and it really doesn't do anything to this. If I'm saggy, that's bad. Okay, so this would be a nice little firm squeeze there. And I tell the kids to aim, like when I do this, you can actually see like the circles, the ripples form. It's because our muscular structure is almost like when you drop a pedal in the water, it creates that circle distribution. Our muscles here fan out, and when I do this, you can see it rippling out. I'm aiming my muscles towards my mouthpiece, because that's what I'm playing. And I'm very relaxed, blowing through my gut, very, very lots of air. It's very important, students, you play on this every day. Work on getting a big, full tone. Make sure to breathe through that nose too, okay? All right, so lead pipe buzzing. This is kind of like your first step towards producing tones on the actual modifier. Our lead pipe is what you actually put your mouthpiece into. So here's the lead pipe opening. Lead pipe goes down the instrument, and it wraps around, and it comes into our valve chambers, which once you put down, opens up different, caverns, if you will, and allows the air to pass through, creating different pitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out our tuning slide. It's the big hook one that's right off our lead pipe. And you're going to take that tuning slide and you're just going to take it out. And once that is done, you have a trumpet that looks like this, right? What you're going to do is you're going to put in your mouthpiece. And we talked about how to do this before. Just set with a tiny twist. That's all it is. Never, never pop that mouthpiece on there. You'll jam it in there and it won't come out. So what you're going to work on is getting this sound. And what that is that's an E flat. If you have a piano at home, it's an E flat. A set of 2 black keys. It's the top one, in case you're not familiar with piano. And when you can blow and produce that pitch, that kind of means that your embouchure is ready for actual notes. And this is a great exercise for the following reason, kids. Number one is it takes away the tube, which creates extra resistance. And so in order to produce a tone, which your air is going in and then straight out into nothing, right? There's no resistance. So it actually takes more air to play it this way than it does with the pipe back in, because then your air is going through, it goes into the chamber, there's all kinds of pressure that happens inside of the trumpet. This is just in and out. And so it's going to force you to use more air to produce a big fat sound. Now, if your embouchure is too saggy, right, and you're not firmed up, you're going to get something that kind of sounds like this. Or you can even get too low. When you hear that like unstableness of the pitch, it almost kind of sounds like a beehive. That has 2 things happening. One, your embouchure is not focused, and you have nowhere near enough air. Just air alone brings that right into pitch. And the only thing I changed was my air support. If I were to put that in terms of something, it's like you have a drippy faucet versus a fire hose. You need fire hose air. Okay, so get that air moving. Okay, if you're too high, which a couple of our kids were actually, they were kind of up there. It was kind of fun. That means you're over tense for where we need to be. You're clamping down too much, which means leave the corners the same. Those of you that are way too high, leave the corners the same. Let the soft part lips, let them vibrate a little bit more. So you're doing a really fast buzz. Try to let the lips relax a little bit. Let it sink down. If you hit the high note, just loosen everything up a little bit at a time, and it'll eventually settle in, and then you'll lock it in. And then once you get it, you just have to do it a few hundred times to where you get used to doing it, and you know exactly how it feels. But when you know how it feels, you can do it every time, and there's like 0 effort to it. And the reason we do that is once you have that completed and we actually start playing notes, this is like home base is what you're doing. You're setting up your embouchure for home base. Flutes and clarinets do something just like this. You just don't see it because they're not in your classroom. This is your home base note. Once you get good at this, you'll do this for the first like minute or so of every single band class you come to. It's our default, and you have to have a good default before you can start learning to manipulate the trumpet in all the different fun ways that are actually possible. So hope you go home, work on this. Lead pipe buzzing should be an E flat on the piano. Okay, work on getting a good sound. No tension, no tension. It should look easy, even though most of the action we talked about this class happening in your brain, right here in your embouchure, and of course fire hose air, not drippy faucet air. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Happy practicing.